Applause rings around the Allianz Arena, and the flags wave, that German tricolour of black, red and yellow. You're listening to Talksport, day 9 of Euro 2020 in this massive game. For 80 odd minutes, remember, Portugal last Tuesday were being frustrated by Hungary before 3 late goals, including a brace from you-know-who, got the holders off to a winning start. Fernando Santos has kept the same lineup for Portugal for this second game against the Germans. Rui Patricio in goal. The back four of Nelson Semedo, Pepe, Ruben Diaz and Rafael Guerreiro. Danilo and William Carvalho are the holding midfielders, and what a front four. Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes, Diogo Jota and Cristiano Ronaldo. 4 names very familiar to TalkSport listeners. Ronaldo winning his 177th cap. He's just sorting out the coin. I know it's freakish, isn't it? Sorting out the coin toss at the moment with Manuel Neuer. And we do have English representation this afternoon out in the middle. Anthony Taylor is in charge, and Gary Besic and Adam Nunn his assistants, while Stuart Atwell is on VAR duty. Just so you know, the English in control of VAR. What does that mean? I'm not saying any more than that. Germany, well, they lost here to the French in a very, well, it sounds tight, a 1-0 scoreline, but Germany really didn't play very well, and you felt that the French had a couple of gears to go to. But that notwithstanding, Jogi Löw has picked the same 11 players for this second game. Matthias Ginter is fit to be one of 3 centre-halves. There were no other major injury concerns, although Leon Goretzka is back on the bench after injury. Was half surprised he didn't feature from the start. Manuel Neuer the goalkeeper, Matthias Ginter, Mats Hummels and Antonio Rudiger as 3 centre-halves. Josh Kimmich, Ilkay Gundogan, Toni Kroos and Robin Gosens, 4 across midfield from right to left, and the front 3 Kai Havertz, Serge Gnabry and Thomas Muller. English representation in the commentary box as well, because Trevor Sinclair is alongside me, and he kept a good idea, a very close weather eye on pretty much every game in this Euro so far.
I have, yes, visited Portugal and then had to come back and stay in isolation for 10 days, so I've enjoyed all the action, but just watching the national anthems there, I mean, it is the best moment of your career when you're standing there and you're listening to your national anthem, ready to play for your country. Brilliant feeling for the players.
Both teams in their first choice colours, we should say, so Portugal in the red shirts and socks and green shorts, Germany in their traditional white shirts, black shorts, white socks. Anthony Taylor checks his watch. Trevor and I are bringing this game to you from our London studios. We are socially distanced, Trevor and I, and the supporters at the Allianz Arena are suitably socially distanced as well, unlike Budapest earlier, which was absolutely ram-packed for that extraordinary 1-1 draw between Hungary and France.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a few Portuguese fans there as well listening to the Portuguese national anthem, so should be some decent atmosphere created, especially if the players can do a bit today.
And we are underway on Talksport. Germany in possession, they're kicking from left to right as Trevor and I look from our vantage point, and it's Matthias Ginter, who did go off injured during the first game, but is clearly 100%. The ball's already gone up to Robin Gosens on the left-hand side, the Atalanta wing-back. Into the area goes Havertz down the left-hand side of the box, almost ricocheted to Serge Gnabry's path, but it's cleared away. But only as far as Antonio Rudiger, still wearing his protective mask to protect his cheekbone, and then a push from Kai Havertz on Pepe, and that's a free kick to Portugal down by the corner flag. Inside the first minute, it's goalless. Yeah,
and if he continues to nibble on players, he's definitely going to get the Hannibal Hector nickname, because after that and the mask as well, I think he deserves it.
Now, I missed that. I to my deepest shame, this apparent little nibble that Rudiger had in the first game on Paul Pogba, was it?
Yeah, I honestly, I just don't get that.
It wasn't quite Suarez on Chiellini, was it? Let's have it right.
No, Chiellini started well as well, hasn't he?
It was just a light snack rather than a full-on meal. Anyway, Diogo Jota works the ball out to the right-hand side, with Bernardo Silva keeps it in play, tight to the touchline for Portugal. They tried to roll it back to Semedo, but passed it beyond him. But Portugal managed to retrieve the situation and stop Germany counter-attacking. The ball's back with the German captain and goalkeeper Manuel Neuer, now winning his 102nd cap tonight.
Played well against France, Neuer. I was surprised how sprightly he looked and fresh. Looked after the ball, his distribution was excellent. Made a couple of decent saves. Just commands his 18-yard box, doesn't he?
When you think back to the disaster of Russia 2018 for Germany, Neuer was not quite fit, but was still picked as #1 keeper, and that was one of the reasons given as to why Germany didn't get out the group.
Yeah.
You know, in that.
It don't matter what position you play in, you've got to be 100% fit to play a championship finals like this. And he certainly looks like he's making up for lost time from that Russian performances.
Remember, Germany start this game bottom of Group F because of that point that Hungary gained against the French. It was a 1-1 draw earlier in Budapest. That means Hungary have a point. France now have 4. Germany 0.
It's quite refreshing, that.
Yeah.
Sorry to all our
That's all
German
he is.
listeners.
Yeah. He doesn't mean it, Trevor Sinclair. He doesn't really. Balls out of play for a throw on this near side. Now remember, Germany and Hungary, of course, play the final game of this group, whilst France and Portugal meet. But that could be decide who tops the group between France and Portugal. Whereas there is now a very realistic proposition that Hungary could stay ahead of Germany.
Yeah.
It's what they do this afternoon that counts, Germany, and they are unbeaten in 4 games against the Portuguese, and they do meet a lot at major tournaments, particularly at the Euros. More on that in a moment. The ball's with Antonio Rudiger for Germany. A couple of minutes gone. It's 0-0 on Talksport. Rudiger looks diagonally for Josh Kimmich on this near side the right. Does really well to cushion a header down for Matthias Ginter. Moves inside the Portuguese half. Just inside him is Gundogan. In the centre circle, Toni Kroos, who directs operations from midfield. Out to the left-hand side, and Gosens, but he just tidily sends it back to Rudiger. Decent 1 or 2 touch football from Germany, but no penetration quite yet. Ginter again, the right of the 3 centre halves, threads the ball through to Havertz. He lays it off for Müller, sends the ball out to the right wing for Kimmich, but he's forced to go back by Guerreiro. Germany keeping the ball well here. Rudiger once more finds his teammate just to his left, Kroos. Now Gundogan of Manchester City in the centre of the Portuguese half. Müller takes a heavy touch. Guerreiro just tried to volley it clear, and it broke on the right side for Ginter. Lovely ball into the box, just beyond Gnabry, and turned into the far post by Robin Gosens. Germany lead inside 5 minutes. What a ball in from the right from Matthias Ginter, and Robin Gosens coming in at the far post gets his second international goal. Claims for handball from the Portuguese. VAR will take a look, but Germany are celebrating an opening goal here.
Yeah, Gantz, I think it's supposed to happen straight away from the handball. So if it's not given it directly straight away, or the goal's not scored straight away, I think that VAR can't get involved. It's an absolutely brilliant ball in. I'm just looking at the reaction there. Definitely Gnabry goes for it, so it could be offside. There's definitely a handball, but Müller doesn't know anything about that, Müller. It's a brilliant finish by Robin Gosens. Absolute, from a real acute angle with his left foot, he lifts himself off the ball and acrobatically volleys the ball in at the near post, giving no chance to Rui Patricio. I think that's just broke the record for, must have been about 25 passes. The interchanging of passes was outstanding.
That's been given out, it's been ruled out. The handball, what happened was Guerreiro, in trying to clear the ball, hit it against Thomas Müller, and whilst Müller's arm was on the ground, his hand was on the ground, the ball touched it.
I'm not sure whether he's giving it for handball or whether he's giving it for offside. I've got to be honest with you, guys.
Gnabry didn't get the touch. He might have been in a slightly in an offside position.
But he tried to go for the ball, and he was slightly in an offside position. That's all I can think, because if it's a handball, one, it's accidental, he's falling on the floor, Müller, and two, it was about 10 seconds before the ball was put in the back of the net anyway. Well,
it's all semantics. It's still 0-0 on Talksport.
What a goal that would have been. Absolutely brilliant finish.
Robin Gosens denied. He will try and get possession on the far side of the field once more for Germany. Just knocks it down for Rudiger. But even though that's no goal, at least that's encouragement for Germany, that they know that they could find their way past this Portuguese rear guard one way or another.
Yeah, it was a great passage of play, and again in good possession on the edge of the box here.
Gnabry trying to wriggle his way through into the area right hand side, checks onto his left, feeds it to the near post, and it's straight into the arms of V Patricio, 0-0.
Yeah, good skill. You can see that he's a threat with his pace. Looks to put it in on the byline with his right foot, closes it, leaves the defender on his backside, uses his left foot. He's got to take more care with that left foot there. He's earned the right to put a cross in, and it's just catching practice that for V Patricio. Keep it in that second 6-yard box if you don't know where you're putting it, and let one of the attackers get on the end of it.
Gosens there again. If Gnabry had got the ball right, it was Gosens right in front of goal who could have got the finish, the left wing back. Scored 11 times for Atalanta this season, Robin Gosens.
Well, you can see why.
Yeah.
What a finish that was.
So stranger to get to the right positions.
I mean, it's I wouldn't even say it's a difficult finish. It's a very, very difficult finish that he's had to execute there, and he did it superbly well. Really disappointing for them not to be one up.
Now Portugal coming forward with Bruno Fernandes. The flag goes up belatedly for offside once it looked like Portugal had a chance of getting a shot away, so it's a free kick to Germany. 7.5 minutes gone on Talksport. Ian Dancer and Trevor Sinclair with you. It is Portugal 0, Germany 0. Germany have already had a goal ruled out through VAR. Remember, Stuart Atwell's in control of that today.
That's where the problems start.
And it was for offside, so we're being led to believe rather than for handball against Müller.
Yeah, Gnabry went for the ball, which was why. If he looked like he wasn't interested in the ball, and the ball then went through to Robin Gosens, the goal would have been given. But the fact that he went for the ball, I think that's why it's an easy one for the officials.
Germany in possession again, midway point of the Portuguese half.
The handball, they couldn't give that. It was a 10-second before as well. And from my interpretation of the rules, the goal has got to come directly from the handball, and there was about 4 or 5 passes after the handball.
It's all subjective, though. That's the problem. Here's Mats Hummels, one of the two players, of course, reintroduced to the German fold in recent times, having been banished to the wilderness by Jogi Löw. Müller the other one, and a bit of a mix-up between Gnabry and Ginter on the German right. Just passes the ball straight out of play, and it's a throw to Portugal, 0-0.
Yeah, we're just looking at the offside there again, and it's a good call. You know, whatever discussions they've had, they've come to the right decision, and I think that's the important thing.
Germany won the ball back deep inside the Portuguese half, and Havertz has a go, pushed out by Patricio. Gnabry tries to get to the loose ball, tried to the dead ball line, pulls it back to the penalty spot, and it was Danilo there first that managed to get it clear.
Yeah, excellent save. The only problem with that save by Rui Patricio is he's put it into an area where someone can get on the end of it.
Here's Ginter right-hand side with another cross. Drops onto the chest of Müller, lobbed away by Danilo, and William Carvalho between them. And now Ronaldo, his first touch of the game, and he gets barged in the back by Hummels, and Portugal have a free kick midway point of their own half. 0-0 on Talksport.
I think Hummels has still got the ump from his own goal against France.
Well, you would, wouldn't you? How many own goals you scored in your career?
I've scored a couple, to be honest, Dan. Thanks for reminding me about that.
Well,
I scored one away at Blackburn when I was at Manchester City, and it wasn't going great at Manchester City, so luckily we got away with it, and I think we won that game.
Portugal in possession, 10 minutes gone, 0-0 on Talksport. Earlier today, Hungary had the lead against the French and had them worried. Ended up being 1-1, so Hungary have a point on the board, which leaves Germany bottom of Group F going into this game without a point themselves.
That's so 2021, isn't it?
Most definitely.
Germany bottom of the league.
Said with some relish by Trevor Sinclair, my co-commentator.
It's just not normal, is it? It's just not normal.
No, well, there's a lot that's not been normal about the last 18 months, 2 years.
Correct.
Let's hope we get back to normality very soon. Here's Bruno Fernandes, Diogo Jota trying to find a way through. Jota can't get past Ginter.
Started the game well, Germany. Looked very composed in possession. Everyone's making angles for each other.
Long ball down to Havertz. Sees him caught by Guerrero. Germany have a free kick, and they're not hanging around, spotting the ball down and getting play back underway. Germany quickly taking free kick, sees Müller and Havertz send Kimmich away down the right-hand side. Fires a ball right to left into the path of Gosens, brought it down really well and feeds Toni Kroos in field. Kroos finds Gosens again left-hand side to the dead ball line, pulls it back to the edge of the area. Kroos with a shot, blocked on its way to goal.
That's brilliant from Kroos. Just his little feint, his little bit of guile looking like he's going to play it inside, and then he does a almost Peter Beardsley-like shuffle where he takes it past the defender, lays it left. It's a pull back to Toni Kroos again. It's a great little pick out. He gets his shot, but it's well defended by the Portuguese back line, and it's blocked.
I think it was Ruben Diaz that got the all-important block in.
That's not a surprise, is it?
No, the season he's had for Manchester City.
He has been brilliant. I mean, the players have voted for him as well as being the best player. I mean, it's a sensational start for his Manchester City and his Premier League career.
Rui Patricio of Wolverhampton Wanderers drives the ball downfield for Portugal, but straight onto the head of Hummels. Lovely cushion headed down for Kimmich. Inside right position for Germany. Finds Havertz, who rolls it up to the edge of the area. Tries to play a 1-2 with Müller, but Guerrero stuck to his task well and dispossessed Havertz in the end. Carvalho and Danilo, the two defensive midfielders, keep the ball away from Gundogan. And then Portugal trying to get out their own half, and they have not done that very much in this opening 12 minutes on Talksport. Do get it out of their own half, but there's nobody in there in a red shirt, so Germany have it back 0-0.
Yeah, I'd like to know what's been said before this game, you know, being bottom of the group, Joachim Low, or whether it's your Mullers or is it your Hummels, but there must have been some kind of team talk, because the commitment this German side have started in this opening 17 minutes has been sensational, and to be honest, Portugal haven't turned up yet.
They haven't, and Muller's just had a pot shot from 25 yards that was straight down the throat of Rui Patricio. Comfortable enough save, but it was Kimmich just getting in behind the back line with the long ball downfield and just nodded the ball down for Muller to have a strike, but boot and ring to Portugal goalkeeper. 0-0.
Little contrast there as well. The run that Bruno Fernandes made earlier, he just ran straight in, he was offside, whereas Kimmich there, he just angled his run, made sure he stayed in an onside position before the ball was kicked, and then went into the offside position, which it doesn't count because the ball's already left his teammate's foot.
Remember when Kimmich is playing here for Bayern Munich at the Allianz Arena, he's a central midfielder. He's looking for Gnabry, who nods it down to the edge of the area. Havertz loses out to Danilo. Kimmich onto the loose ball, looking for Müller to try and get the cross in. Brilliantly kept it in play. Kimmich runs into Pepe, and he'll put it behind for a corner kick. And Portugal are under real pressure from the Germans here. It's 0-0, but the home side, as it were, they're having it all.
That's brilliant, that. It's almost like a Ryan Giggs tackle with a slide tackle where you put your foot on top of the ball, let the opposition player go over the ball, and then carry on. Excellent, did excellent to keep that in play.
Right wing corner for Germany. Toni Kroos with the right-footed out swinger to around the penalty spot, looking for Hummels. It's headed away, and a chance for a break for Portugal if they can get the ball right. Ronaldo steaming through the centre. Fernandes and Jota up as well. The ball's looking for Diogo Jota. He's in behind. Jota in the area. Tapped in by Ronaldo. The flag stays down. And Ronaldo puts Portugal ahead against the run of play. Would you believe it? Germany have been all over Portugal in this opening quarter of an hour. But the corner was quickly cleared. The counter-attack was lightning fast. And when Jota saw Ronaldo in space, an unselfish square ball means it's 12 goals at Euro finals for Cristiano Ronaldo. Germany 0, Portugal 1.
Gans, I can't tell you how good that goal is. Ronaldo cleared the corner. He cleared the corner, and then he got his head down, and his speed and desire to get into a position where he's going to score a goal. I mean, he's greedy. He wants goals. He absolutely put his head down. It's brilliant play from Bernardo. Picked up the ball, drove with it, picked out a crossfield ball with his right foot. Jota chested it down. Simple side foot, 5-metre pass. And Ronaldo got his rewards. What a finish, what a game. And talk about getting caught on the counter-attack. That is a classic counter-attacking goal. Brilliant from Portugal.
They've had 2/3 of possession, Germany, in this opening 15 minutes. But there you go, possession counts for nothing.
Absolutely.
When you get caught like that. And that means it's 19 goals for Cristiano Ronaldo at major tournament finals. He's drawn level with the great Miroslav Klose of Germany.
Wow. And I think that's his 12th in the Euros.
That is his 12th, yep.
I think he was level with coming into this tournament, and with the 3 goals he's scored now, he's in a class of his own, isn't he?
It's been like that for some time, in fairness, Trevor.
I know, I just keep the blinkers on though, because I'm a Messi fan.
Let's not start that debate now.
It's a sensational goal. You know, they've been under it for the opening 20 minutes of this game. And the fact that Ronaldo let Thais to defend that corner for his team and then just put his head down, let the technical players, the creative players do their bit, and when it came to being in the right position to finish it off, you wouldn't want another man there.
Portugal 1, Germany 0 on Talksport. 16 minutes gone. How did Germany respond? Well, they're working the ball down the left-hand side of the box, but it's gone behind for a goal kick. Just got away from Toni Kroos in the end. And there'll be a goal kick for Portugal, who just try and take the sting out of the game for the next 4 or 5 minutes, I imagine.
Oh, it's been brilliant from Germany. I've got to say, apart from that counter-attack, which has left them 1-0 down, Germany have started this game exceptionally well. But to be kicking the ball out of the net after the chances they created, after having the ball in the back of the net themselves, which was disallowed for an offside decision, which was probably the right one, I've got to give it to the officials, but then to go one behind after dictating this whole 15 minutes it's a mental thing now. They've got to pick themselves up and they've got to go again.
Trevor Sinclair, you can hear alongside me, Ian Danta here on Talksport. Portugal then bidding to qualify this afternoon with a second win in succession. Well, Rui Patricio having to get down low to save as Gosens drove the ball across the face of goal from the left-hand side. Gosens the man most likely for Germany in these early stages, but Patricio right behind the ball and in no danger of letting it squirm out of his grasp. Portugal 1-0 up.
Yeah, Ginter can't allow that to happen. He's let the ball go just over the inside of his left-hand shoulder. He's defending the right back area and it's gone over him. It's a good, well-timed run by Gosens, and you can see his first touch is superb, and he's only got one thing in his mind because he's got no support anyway, and he gets his shot off. It's a decent strike across goal, but it's a comfortable save that from Rui Patricio.
Kimmich for Germany. Plays the ball up to the right-hand corner of the box. Havertz trying to get around Pepe and Ruben Diaz, and Diaz was caught by Kai Havertz. You heard Anthony Taylor's whistle go. Diaz just clutching his right calf.
Yeah.
It's a free kick to Portugal inside their own penalty area. 1-0 Portugal lead.
I think he's just slightly twisted his ankle there with the contact from Havertz. Havertz tried a little Cruyff back heel through his legs.
We're just seeing a replay of the diagonal pass that Bernardo Silva hit downfield for Diogo Jota. And how about Jota's unselfishness, knowing that his buddy Ronaldo is just to his right?
Forget about that. Ronaldo's hard as nails. If you don't pass it in there, he's going to take your head off.
You're going to get it.
No, I think he was forced into that because, to be fair, Neuer came out and spread himself like we've seen him do so many times, and you wouldn't want to hit the goalkeeper in that situation with Ronaldo free on the edge of the 6-yard box, slightly behind you, so he's definitely in an onside position. It's decision, and listen, it was always going to happen. As soon as he played that ball, there was only one thing that was going to happen.
The one commandment, right? The one, never mind 10 commands, there's only one commandment in Portuguese football. If CR7's free, give him the ball.
Imagine going in at half-time and you not giving him that, and Neuer making a great save, spreading himself. I mean, you'd be up against the wall, I'm sure.
107 goals now for Cristiano Ronaldo for his country. He's also scored 100-plus goals for 3 different clubs. First European male to score at 5 different tournaments.
Good bit of detail there as well, Dance.
What's that? Male?
Male.
Quite right.
Absolutely.
It's a universal game now.
Rightly so as well.
1-0. Portugal lead here in Euro 2020. Thanks to that brilliant counter-attacking goal. Finished off by Ronaldo, but set up by Bernardo Silva and Diogo Jota.
Talking about universal game, I mean, we mentioned it before privately between ourselves. Emma Hayes on commentary. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic. She's educational.
You want to learn something from everybody you hear doing game commentaries. Every day's a school day.
Never stop in this game. Never stop learning.
Germany in possession inside their own penalty area with their goalkeeper and captain Manuel Neuer. There's a fairly high press from Portugal.
They've changed that, Dance, because they started off as a mid-press, and after they've got the goal there, they've obviously got a little bit of confidence from that, and you can see there's been a dip in performance and energy levels from the German side, so they decided to press a little bit higher. Now you can see they've maintained that situation, but they've just slipped back now into a deeper block.
As Germany get the ball up to halfway, Antonio Rudiger of Chelsea looking for an option. He's got players left and right. Gersons has gone left. Muller's out there with him to slide it down the channel if he wants to use him, but Gersons has gone back for Rudiger. Rudiger midway point of the Portuguese half. Now Muller tries to release Gersons down that left, but Portugal have enough men back, and Ronaldo now chasing after a loose ball down the right hand side, protects it from Rudiger and then flicks it infield for Bruno Fernandes, knocks it across for Diogo Jota. Jota has a drive from the edge of the D, it deflects up in the air and Neuer prevents the corner. Does he? No, he does not quite. The assistant from England on that far side says it's a corner kick to Portugal. 1-0 they lead.
Yep, same move. Bernardo getting the ball off Ronaldo with his skill. I mean, talk about he give it a non-eyed flick on the volley straight to his mate. Bernardo picked it up, and it's a repeat of the goal. Fantastic crossfield ball, good run by Jota.
Short corner from Portugal, work back to the midway point of the half, driven to the far post, across the face of goal and wide. Ruben Diaz was up at the far post, was it? Trying to nod it across goal, it was.
He'll be asking questions because it looked like a training ground move. Diaz spun round the back post, gets himself free, puts it right across into that dangerous area. Neuer's coming across to the right hand side to protect his near post, as any goalkeeper should, and it was crying out for someone just to gamble off that touch by Diaz. No one gambled and it went harmlessly out for a goal kick.
Well, standing directly behind Ruben Diaz was, yes, you guessed it, Cristiano Ronaldo.
He was still thinking about that flick.
He gave everybody the eyes as he backflicked the ball away from Rudiger.
He done the cameraman, didn't he?
I think he's enjoying himself out there, Ronaldo. But here comes Germany trying to do something about that. Portugal 1-0 up on Talksport midway through the first half. Ian Dancer and Trevor Sinclair with you. Here's Josh Kimmich down the German right, down the right hand side of the Portuguese penalty area. Kroos teases the ball into the box, headed away by Pepe. From the veterans in this Portuguese squad, still doing it at the ripe old age of 38.
Horrible man on the football pitch. A horrible man. You know, he's definitely one of them players that you can see him 2 foot in his granny if he had the opportunity on the pitch. I bet off the pitch he's an absolutely lovely lad. I played with players like this many times. Yeah. Martin Keown's one. Yeah. Stay away from him in training. But what a player. You know, we heard Jose Mourinho talking about him earlier. You know, did he have the mentality? Could he do it again and again and again? They weren't sure about his age.
Get to push the ball into the box, and Diaz somewhat awkwardly skies the ball over the bar. It is a German corner away to the right-hand side. Now, the last corner ended up in the back of the German net with a Portuguese counter-attack.
Yeah, very, very fortunate there, Ruben Diaz. I've seen them end up in the top corner. He's come on his left foot. He's slightly quicker than a half volley.
Kroos with a right-footed in-swinging delivery, volleyed away by Diaz. Only comes out as far as Gnabry on the right-hand side. Can he keep it in play? He can. 10 yards from the dead ball line, running at Guerreiro. Now tries to step inside and left-footed ball across goal, and no one there to tap it home. Hummels was there at the near post. Nobody in a white German shirt at the far post. So it goes behind for a Portuguese goal kick. And the Seleção still lead by a 0-0 on Talksport.
Brilliant by Gnabry. Again, looking like he's going on the outside, chopping in on his left foot. It just bobbles up for him nice, and he just feeds it into an area where the keeper doesn't want any part of it, and it's just wanting a flick. Hummels was in there, can't get a touch on it, and again it harmlessly goes wide. There's a little bit of a drinks break here, but I just want to go back to that goal, because when you look at the start of this game, Germany have had 65% of possession. They've been in control, they've created chances, they've had the ball in the back of the net. It's on the transition that they're struggling. The transition, they've got to be so much more alert, because from that corner which Ronaldo won, there must be 6-7 players at the Portuguese side, goal side of him, and on the transition Ronaldo puts his head down, sprints as quickly as he can, and the German side don't react, and that's what they mustn't allow to do. You've always got to have that what if we lose the ball, and they don't. Bernardo carries it well. We're just watching the replay now. It's a fantastic ball into Jota, a simple take on his chest, little one with the outside of his right boot into the path of yours truly, Cristiano Ronaldo, and the rest, as they say, is history.
You can hear alongside me Ian Dancer. The drinks break is just coming to an end. Chance for me to remind you that we have another commentary coming up for you tonight on Talksport from Group E. Spain against Poland, Jim Proudfoot and Stuart Pearce. Mark Saggers your team with that game, and then from tomorrow it's all about the final fixtures in groups. For example, Group A concludes tomorrow with Italy against Wales on Talksport at 5 o'clock, and at the same time Switzerland-Turkey on Talksport 2.
How cool is Roberto Mancini in that whistle?
Yeah, somebody rather cruelly said he looked like a coach driver in that first game. You're not having that, are you? See,
and Andrea Pacelli as well. I mean, talk about...
I'm not one to judge on style, sorry.
Absolutely impeccable style.
Fashion's
beautiful.
Fashion's not my strong point. You should know that. We're back underway on Talksport. 1-0 to Portugal. 26 minutes played at the Allianz Arena. Now forward comes Danilo, and he's brought to the ground by Kai Havertz, and Portugal have a free kick. It's a bit too far out, I would say, even for Superman himself, Cristiano Ronaldo, but it is a free kick nonetheless to Portugal, probably about 35 yards out to the left of centre.
Yeah, I think William Carvalho there, he knew he didn't have the pace to go away from Havertz. Havertz has got to be more patient. He's got to work hard, do the hard stuff and get goal side rather than trying to win the ball from wrong side. It's a cheap free kick to give away, and now they find themselves having to defend a free kick in quite a dangerous area, especially when you're defending against a player that can jump like Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, because Ronaldo wants nothing to do with taking this free kick. He wants the glory of getting on the end of whatever either Rafael Guerreiro or Bruno Fernandes can concoct between them. It's about 10 yards to the left of centre. Guerreiro floats it in left-footed. Up go the heads, and it was Jota who got the header on it, but got underneath it, over the bar. Goal kick to Germany. Portugal still lead by a goal to nil.
Yeah, it's a decent ball. I think that the difficulty was it was quite lofted and curled, and Jota, as it comes into him, he's got to try and generate the power on the ball because he's not enough pace on it, and he just gets under it a little bit while doing that, and he gets right under it and just gets it wrong, and it goes over the crossbar. 27 and a half minutes played on Talksport at Euro 2020. So yeah, Wales, Italy at 5 o'clock tomorrow. Remember, Joe Shannon, Dean Ashton and Adrian Durham all there at the Olympic Stadium to bring you commentary of that game. Now, Kimmich gets away down the right-hand side for Germany. In behind Guerreiro, puts it across the face of goal, but too close to Patricio, and the Portuguese keeper can claim it at his near post. Yeah, it's not a bad ball, you know. There's a bit of space there, and you just need someone to take a gamble, probably Gnabry, get across that near post. If he does that, gets a slight flick on it, I think Patricio's already committed to take the cross. You nick yourself a goal. Still plenty forward for Germany as they win the ball back from Fernandes. Gosens drives the ball into the area, volleyed away by Fernandes. Ronaldo heads the ball out to the right-hand side, looking for Bernardo Silva, but Kroos and Rudiger between them win possession back for Germany. And that's what I'm talking about, transition. Have a little bit more urgency about it, and that's what they did there, but they've already learned the lesson, and the lesson was harsh because that means they're 1-0 down. Ronaldo's goal on 15 minutes separating the sides, and looking at the possession stats, it's still 65-35 in Germany's favour. Possession means nothing, as has been proved. To be fair, when you've got one old boy and one absolutely brilliant defender in Pepe and Ruben Dias, you've got a chance of having a deep line, giving away possession and waiting for them chances where you can go and counter-attack, and that's exactly what Portugal have done today. Fourth meeting at Euros between these two. Portugal did beat Germany in the group stages of Euro 2000. You remember that tournament well, Trev? I do. Now here's Müller putting the ball into the box on the right-hand side. Havertz keeps it in play by lobbing it back across the face of goal, but Ruben Dias heads clear. Up goes Ginter. Bit of head tennis at the edge of the box. Bruno Fernandes nods it towards the centre circle. The Germans have it back. Nodded down for Ginter. Then a header on from Kimmich. Müller does brilliantly to bring it down and finds Serge Gnabry trying to make space at the edge of the area, but he ran in to Ruben Dias. A free kick is given Portugal's way for the challenge when Gnabry just let the ball run away from him a little too much. 1-0 Portugal. Yeah, Ruben Dias took another knock there. It looked like Gnabry half jumped into that a little bit. No, he's gone over the top. It's definitely a foul. Good call from Anthony Taylor, but he certainly caught him, and that'll be a painful one, because I think, if I'm not incorrect, he took a knock on that ankle about 10 minutes ago. Correct. He's in the wars a little, Ruben Dias. Good play from Thomas Müller. Pepe, of course, will keep an eye on his buddy and make sure that he gets... That's in his little black book, I'm sure. Yeah. Free kick will be Portugal's inside their penalty area, and the whistles are going up because German home fans perceive that Rui Patricio has taken his time. Rather, half an hour gone.
1-0 to Portugal on Talksport.
I'm surprised there's only 10 million people in Portugal. I didn't realise they only had 10 million people in the country, so it's an unbelievable achievement that they've won this European Cup.
Absolutely. They will qualify for the knockout stages with a win here. And the top 2 place will be confirmed if they win, because Hungary failed to beat the French. So it's all good. I mean, their record at the Euros, Portugal, for a country with such a small population. Winners, of course, at Euro 2016. Semi-finalists in 84, Euro 2000 and 2012. Runners-up 2004. Last 8, Euro 96 and Euro 2008. It stands up to the closest possible examination. There's no play here at the moment, incidentally, because I think it's Pepe down getting some treatment on the halfway line.
Yeah, I mean, it's very impressive. And even when you look domestically at the club football and the football they produce there, and I know they get a lot of Brazilian players because of the language, and a lot of Brazilians' first visit to Europe usually is Portugal, and that's where they start playing their football. But still, they've had some fantastic success stories.
See the Portugal and Ukraine, you see a lot of Ukrainian sides picking up Portuguese and Brazilian players.
Why is that?
Well,
agents?
I think there might just a trickle became a flood. I think you think of players like Tyson, who went to play for Metalist Kharkiv and others, and I think it's just become a route. Maybe agents have utilised that for Brazilian players, but you're right. When Brazilian players come to Portugal en masse, it does dwindle the pot. What have we talked about in this country about limited opportunities for English players in the Premier League?
Absolutely.
Back underway on Talksport. 1-0 to Portugal. 12 minutes to the break.
Big advocate of that, by the way, Dance. Giving young British players opportunities, because if they don't get them opportunities, how are they going to learn? You've got to be in an uncomfortable position to learn and realise what you've got to get to make the grade.
Gundogan of Manchester City out to the right hand side for Kimmich. Ginter wants the ball played into him, rolls it up to the edge of the area, touched out back wide to Kimmich by Müller. Müller, right hand corner of the box, feeds it back to Gundogan. Now Ginter with a diagonal ball looking for Gnabry, but it's headed away by Semedo. Only as far as Toni Kroos. Germany trying to keep the pressure on here around the Portuguese 18-yard box. Now ball hit left to right, seeking out Kimmich, but he had to just run back 5 yards to collect it. Ball's now in the centre circle with Rudiger. Gets his header, floats the ball out to the left-hand side for Gosens. Lovely little flick back for Toni Kroos, who's out there with him. But the ball back in field from Gosens is one back, and Bernardo Silva's bringing the ball away for Portugal. Looks in field for William Carvalho and Danilo. Between them they get it clear up to halfway, and Ronaldo flicks the ball back to Bernardo Silva, who's on his way, right-hand side of the area. Bernardo Silva gets into the area, but Rudiger tidies up, just sticks a foot in and guides it back to his keeper.
Yeah, good sense of urgency and positioning there by Rudiger. We've seen him do that so many times for Chelsea. Looked like Bernardo got the better of the defender, and then Rudiger just covers round, cleans up, and gives it back to Neuer. Excellent defending.
Portugal still a goal to the good. Here come Germany. 11 minutes to half-time. Thomas Müller, right-hand corner of the Portuguese box. To his right is Kimmich. Left-footed ball deep to the far post. Gosens there again. Drives it in, and it's turned in by Kai Havertz. And Germany are level. Gosens with the assist this time. He thought he'd scored earlier before. It was ruled out for offside. But Gosens with a wonderful drive across the face of goal, and Kai Havertz right in front, could not miss. Germany get themselves level with 10 to the break. It's Portugal 1, Germany 1.
And I've got to say, they thoroughly deserve that. It's an absolutely brilliant switch of play from right to left. And Gosens, as we've said already, looks really dangerous, decides to take it on the volley, puts it into a dangerous area, and what did we say before? Have a gamble. Kai Havertz had a gamble, got across his defender, got a slightest touch. I'm not even sure, just because he was there, it might have come off the defender, but he's in there to make it uncomfortable, and it ends up in the bottom corner. Brilliant from Germany, and thoroughly deserved 1-1.
I think you're right, it may well go down as an OG.
What a game.
But it's all square in Munich on Talksport. Germany needed that. And now they've won the ball back high up the pitch. Müller runs into Pepe, who comes across and gets it clear and wins a free kick for his team as well. Caught late by Müller, who claims innocence.
5 years ago Müller would have got there.
And 5 years ago, Pepe would have got there sooner. It's all relative, Trevor. Anyway, it was a free kick. Just caught the boot of Pepe as he cleared it. But that was a dangerous moment for Portugal. They got a bit lax. And
they've got to stay concentrated, Dance. You know, conceding a goal now, they've got to keep that mentality and that spirit alive and make sure they put on a professional performance and not switch off.
1-1 on Talksport.
You can just see now Guzan's there, getting into the fans, clenching his fist and getting the fans riled up.
Now, did that come off Ruben Diaz last of all? We're seeing some replays.
Looks like it did.
It come off his shin, didn't it?
He'll be having nightmares about Kai Havertz.
But Havertz wheeled away claiming it, and it is a German goal. And of course, it was an own goal that did for Germany against the French just a few days ago in the Allianz Arena, when Mats Hummels turned into the back of his own net in that same goal.
It's horrible, that was horrible.
Not much you could have done about that, and that was from a ball driven across on the left-hand side. It's a familiar pattern that we're seeing at this particular stadium. So 1-1, less than 10 to half-time. And Germany trying to come forward, looking for Kimmich on the right-hand side, but the diagonal ball is overhit, and it will be a goal kick to the Portuguese.
We were saying earlier that Kimmich should be playing in the middle of the park. Kimmich was the one that made that crossfield ball to Guzan's there. Like I said, listen, if the manager wants you to play there, get your head down and do the best job possible. And he's worked his socks off on that right-hand side for Germany. And when you get an assist, I know you're not scoring goals, but when you get an assist and you're involved in situations like that, he'll still feel very valued by the side. And even more so because he's prepared to play out of his comfort zone and out of his main position where he tends to play week in, week out domestically.
You may remember, Trevor, that Josh Kimmich's first competitive appearances for Germany were at Euro 2016. He'd never played a competitive international. He was drafted in as a right-back then, really. Now he plays central midfield with Leon Goretzka for Bayern Munich. And I don't know whether if Goretzka was fit, Jogi Löw would be tempted to go with that similar double pivot in front of a back four, but it's a back three that he's gone with, and that's the back three that's in possession now. Rudiger looking down the left-hand side for Gozens, now finds Muller left-hand corner of the box, tries to lift the ball in for Havertz, who gets in front of the keeper. Kimmich across the face of goal, it's turned in by Rafael Guerreiro. Another own goal in that net, away to the right-hand side, and Germany have turned it around in Munich and lead. It was Josh Kimmich that kept the ball alive on the dead ball line, hit it across the face of goal, and Guerreiro, facing his own goal, could do nothing but turn it past his keeper Patricio, and from 1-0 down, Germany are now 2-1 up.
We're all over the place, Germany. I'm telling you, this free fall through, they don't know what to do with it. Initially, it's a terrible cross, under hit by Muller. It comes back to him, and his volley with his other foot is way better than the original cross, puts it into a dangerous area. Kai gets his shot off, it's slightly wide, Kimmich keeps it alive, right on the byline, wraps his right foot round it, and I think it is an own goal. There's nothing that, I don't think there's anything that Diaz could do about that. He's running back, actually it's Guerreiro, like you said, he couldn't do anything about that. It's a fantastic ball. We're just waiting for VAR because it looks like there may have been an offside decision to be made at the beginning of that attack.
It's given, so we're back underway. Goal is good. Portugal 1, Germany 2. 2 own goals have got Germany in front, so this impossibly strange statistic still rings true. No German player in this squad has ever scored at a European Championships. Now Havertz has got a chance to put that right, he drives it goalwards and it's put behind by Ruben Diaz. Portugal are all over the place with, 5 minutes to half-time. Germany have their tails up and they have the lead 2-1.
Yeah, Fernando Santos, the manager of Portugal, needs to do something here. Whether it's tactical, whether it's the formation, but they're just not getting the ball. This is Germany in possession, wave after a wave of an attack, and they're not dealing with it. Again, it's a simple header through. Ruben Diaz decides to back off, he drives into the box, Kai Havertz gets his shot off, and in the end it's a good block by Kai Havertz. But he shouldn't be after making tackles like that time and time again.
Ruben Diaz to the rescue for Portugal as Havertz was bearing down on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Muller's gone down hurt, incidentally, so the corner's going to have to wait. Muller's back on his feet, nursing a problem with his left shoulder. Hopefully he's not dislocated it or anything like that. But it will mean Germany are temporarily down to 10 for this corner kick that they have on the right-hand side.
I think one of the problems is the 3-4-3. If you lock on and stop the opposition, as in Portugal, playing out, it's very difficult unless you've got players in possession who are prepared to either dribble past one of the pressing players or knocking it long and straight into Cristiano. They're not doing either. So they're not being able to get out of their own half, and this is why this attack is just attack by Germany.
So they
68% possession, by the way, Dance.
Yep. Dominant with the ball, and now a dominant scoreline from 1-0 down to 2-1 up. Germany have this corner away to the right-hand side. Toni Kroos is going to take it. Muller temporarily off the pitch. Outswinger from the German number 8. Headed up by Rudiger, and over the crossbar. It'll be a goal kick to Portugal. And you're right, Fernando Santos has got work to do in that dressing room at half-time for the Portuguese. Title play. Rudiger didn't know much about the header, in actual fact. Flicked onto his head from Pepe, and he was facing the wrong way by the time the ball had sailed over the crossbar. Muller's back out there. We're back to 11 against 11.
I think he turned his face because he didn't want it in his mask.
Yeah, he's still wearing that protective mask because of a fractured cheekbone, of course.
Yeah, I've been there. I've had that a few times in my career. It's not comfortable, but it's one of them. You either wear it or you don't play.
Well, we've all got used to wearing masks in the last 18 months. If I haven't got if I've forgotten it to bring out of the house, I do the Graham Taylor. Fred, he's forgot his mask. Like McCaskill. It's like a Tourette's thing. I can't help myself. He's forgot his mask.
You do love your accents.
He's forgot his mask, Fred. 1-2 is the scoreline. Portugal 1, Germany 2. 2.5 minutes to half-time. Don't forget Spain, Poland tonight at 8 live on Talksport with Mark Sanger, Jim Proudfoot and Stuart Pearce. As Group A comes to the end of its second round of fixtures, and then from tomorrow it's all about the final fixtures in each group. Ronaldo now for Portugal, looking to slip it through for Diogo Jota, inside the area, onside. Kimmich gone with him. Kimmich holds him up well, and then the offside flag goes up against Diogo Jota, and Ronaldo, well, he eyes in the back of his head, knew that Jota was behind him, but he was offside. Yeah,
he took a snapshot photo before he got the ball. He knew that run would have been going in behind. That right to left from Jota on the left-hand side. He made it. The ball was superb. Almost like he's got eyes in the back of his head, like you said, Dance. And he'd just gone a little bit too early, Jota, there. But that's the dangerous ball for Portugal. We've seen it happen time and time again on the counter-attack, going down the right-hand side with Bernardo or Fernando Torres.
Germany coming forward with Josh Kimmich. Goes through the legs of Muller. Havertz runs onto it, edge of the D. Goes into acres of space, left-hand side of the area. Drives it in near post. Kept out by the keeper. And Kimmich couldn't get to the follow-up before Portugal clear.
Yeah, again, brilliant attack. Down that left-hand side, Guzman's very good, and they're trying to pick him out all the time.
Now a diagonal ball, they've got men forward, they've got men over Portugal. It's 4-on-3, Bernardo Silva looks down the right-hand side of the box for Pepe, who got forward, and he wins a corner off Rudiger. What on earth was Pepe doing at that end of the field?
Wow.
Corner to Portugal.
He's very unlucky as well, because when the ball was laid in, I think it was Bernardo plays a little slip ball in, and as he runs onto it, just as he's about to get there, there's a massive divot in the pitch.
Short corner worked between Bernardo Silva and Bruno Fernandes. The cross comes in from Bernardo Silva, headed away by Hummels, who'll go out of play for a throw. We're into the last minute of normal time. There will be a couple of minutes to add on for a few stoppages. Muller's injury, there was a little drinks break as well in the heat. And Portugal in possession in the centre circle with William Carvalho. Not had the best of times in international football and domestically. William Carvalho lost some form and injuries, but Fernando Santos still trusts him as one of those holding midfielders. Free kick Portugal as Semedo's brought down, right hand side of the area. Again, chance to get the ball in the box here for the Portuguese, who are 2-1 down.
Yeah, I'd like to see Moutinho in there. I think he's got a lot more about him, a lot more composure. He's prepared to accept the ball in tighter areas. Carvalho just looks a little bit uncomfortable. He's not got a turn of pace either. You just wonder what he brings to the side, because out of possession, you know, they've been rolled over by this German side, who bullied him in a lot of ways. Not allowed him to play out from the back. And just wave after wave of attack, and the goals are obviously going to come.
He was an important player at Euro 2016, William Carvalho. He's been at Betis for 3 seasons now, but he's had a injury-plagued season. But Still in that Portuguese midfield. Now, the free kick for Portugal as we move into 3 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. Right-hand side, it's teased into the box by Bruno Fernandes. Havertz heads it up in the air. Gnabry lets it drop because he knows that Neuer can come and catch it with no red-shirted Portuguese players around him. And applause rings around the Allianz Arena as Germany tidy up. They lead 2-1 here.
Yeah, good organisation, good communication there, just to make sure that that attack from Portugal ended with nothing. Neuer collecting the ball safely in his hands.
Rudiger, midway point of his own half, slowing play down for a moment.
Yeah,
seeing it through to half-time.
Managed the game. I mean, a lot of the time, you talk about the fans in the stadium. This German performance has inspired the fans, because we're starting to hear the German fans now. Prior to the game and for the opening part of the game, I didn't hear anything from the German fans, but the side has forced the fans to come alive, and it's great to hear.
14,000 German fans are inside the Allianz Arena this afternoon. Trevor and myself back in our London studios for Talksport, socially distanced of course. Trevor always makes sure he keeps away from me anyway. Hooked away by Hummels, over halfway. Nodded down well by Danilo for William Carvalho. Guerreiro in the left-back position, just steps away from Kimmich and moves in field. Got an option out to his left in Diogo Jota. Jota, first-time ball for Danilo. Now Guerreiro's motoring down the left-hand side. First-time ball to the edge of the area, brought down by Bruno Fernandes, but between Rudiger and Hummels, they get it half clear, but it's still with Portugal. They've won the second ball. Semedo out to Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side. Looking to take on Gersons, gets level with the edge of the area right-hand side, steps away from Kroos, who's really pressurising him well and forces him to give it away. Serge Gnabry now moving into the Portuguese half up against Pepe, steps inside him, getting towards the edge of the area. Gnabry checks onto his left, fires it, goal was saved by Patricio, and it gets away from Thomas Muller. But Germany still have it. Kimmich now floats the ball back into the box, headed down by Diaz, and between Carvalho and Danilo, they tidy it up. Brought away by Diogo Jota, who's said to be one last counter-attack for Portugal.
That is absolutely brilliant by Gnabry. Brilliant by Gnabry. He's absolutely twisted Pepe left, right and centre there. Chucked him up on the outside in the end. Got his shot away, and it's a decent save by Rui Patricio, but what a half of football that was.
Blistering first half has come to an end on Talksport. Germany all over Portugal in the first 12 or 13 minutes. Suddenly, Germany had a corner. Swift counter-attack from Portugal between Bernardo Silva, Diogo Jota and, you guessed it, Cristiano Ronaldo, who tucked it away on the counter-attack for his 12th goal at European finals. But still, despite the fact that Germany lead, no German player in this squad has scored at the Euros, because it's 2 own goals that make the difference. Ruben Diaz putting the ball into his own net. We're under pressure from Kai Havertz as Gosens drove the ball across the face of goal, and then when Josh Kimmich did brilliantly to keep the ball alive on the right-hand side of the 6-yard box, it was Rafael Guerreiro who could only turn the ball into his own net. So a bit of luck for Jogi Löw at half-time at the Allianz Arena. It's Portugal 1, Germany 2. Thanks, Danny, and it's Portugal that have made the change at the break. Renato Sanchez is on. Just won the title with Lille, of course. Was the young player of the tournament at Euro 2016, you might remember, in France. Went to Bayern and it kind of went wrong for him here, but he's on this pitch now, and he's come on for Bernardo Silva, Trevor Sinclair. That's the change at half-time. Your thoughts on that in just a moment. But we're back underway with Portugal having the kick-off. They're kicking from left to right as we look. Trevor and I are in our London studios bringing this game to you. The game is at the Allianz Arena. Portugal in red shirts and socks and green shorts. Germany also in their first choice colours, white shirts and socks with black shorts. So Sanchez on for Bernardo Silva. You were looking at me when you saw Renato Sanchez warming up, Trev, and thought, well, it's either Danilo or William Carvalho that's coming off.
Yeah, I think they've lacked that intensity in the middle of the park for me, Portugal. Not only that, they've lacked legs. They've not really been able to affect the game. And, in a lot of games, the game is won in the middle of the park. And I think, for me, Danilo and William Carvalho have been non-existent in that first half. So, very surprised. Maybe Bernardo's got some kind of injury. It's something that they've had to do. But apart from that, when anything that good that Portugal have done, he's generally come down the right-hand side with Bernardo and ended up with Jota. So I'm surprised about that.
Here's Cristiano Ronaldo, an early burst down the right-hand side of the German box. Heads for the byline, tries to wrap his foot round it, the cross is blocked by Robin Gosens, but it's kept alive by Semedo. Touched in field by Bruno Fernandes for Danilo. Now William Carvalho just trickles under his boot, but it still makes its way through to Rafael Guerreiro. Running through the lineups as the ball goes back into the Portuguese half. Patricio, the goalkeeper. Semedo, Pepe, Diaz and Guerreiro, the back four. Danilo and William Carvalho in front of them. And then it's now Renato Sanchez, Fernandes and Jota in behind Cristiano Ronaldo. Now Semedo bursting down the right-hand side for Portugal, but he runs into Hummels. But then Rudiger gives it away needlessly, and Fernandes tries to release Semedo down the right again to the byline, smacks it against Gosens and wins a throw. Quickly running through the German side, Neuer the keeper, Ginter, Hummels and Rudiger, three centre-halves. Kimmich, Gundogan, Kroos and Gosens across midfield. Havertz, Gnabry and Müller are the front three. Trevor Sinclair.
Yeah, Gosens just took an uncomfortable one in the groin area.
The unmentionables.
Yeah, he's struggling a little bit. We've been there, it's not very nice, but I'd expect to see something similar to the first half pattern. I can't really see how Renato Sanchez can change that up unless they change the formation.
His first goal for Portugal came at the Stade Velodrome against the Poles. Renato Sanchez. Ball given away by Germany again in their own defensive third, and here is Renato Sanchez getting involved, right-hand corner of the box, helped up by Bruno Fernandes, lobs the ball to the far post, it just gets over the head of Diogo Jota, not the tallest man of course, but he just couldn't get the header back across goal. Ronaldo might have been a better bet at that far post, but it's a goal kick to Germany, who lead by 2-1.
Yeah, they've plugged him in there a little bit, Portugal, not allowing Germans to get out, and then they've got the ball. Renato Sanchez looks very sharp, he's strong. You can see why he had a big impact as a young player. He seems to have matured now, and let's hope we can see the best of him. But he's had something to do with the action early doors. Got the ball, played it inside. It's a decent cross, it's just a little bit too big for Jota.
He didn't feature at all in the qualifiers for this tournament, Renato Sanchez, so it's his season at Lille post-lockdown that's really helped him win back his international berth with Portugal.
Yeah, you've got to see players humble themselves. If they're not playing football, go and get some first team football and play week in, week out. That's how you get your form back, and that's how you enhance your reputation.
Winning the title helps.
Absolutely.
Here's Germany in possession. Gosens gives it away though, tight to this near touchline, and Renato Sanchez just plays a 1-2 with Bruno Fernandes. Couldn't quite take the ball with him, but he's helped out by Danilo and William Carvalho. Now on the left-hand side is Rafael Guerreiro, rolls it up to Ronaldo on the halfway line. Now Jota was never going to be able to ride the challenge of Matthias Ginter, sliding in to win it back.
Opted out of that one.
Wisely, because Ginter's about twice the size of him. And here's Antonio Rudiger, another tall, stocky man at the back for Germany. Plays the ball into the centre circle for the diminutive Serge Gnabry. Ball played out to the German left for Robin Gosens. Gosens, diagonal ball looking for Gnabry in the area. Ruben Diaz heads it half clear. Might drop it for Nelson Semedo. He puts his foot through it just to keep it away from Gosens, but there's time for Rudiger to bring it out the sky in his own half and work it back to his keeper Neuer. Germany 2-1 up here.
Yeah, I think when you look at the full-backs of Portugal, they've really struggled to get into the game. Guerreiro scored the opening goal against Hungary in that 3-0 win, and Nelson Semedo, and I think that is because they're being forced to either play it backwards, not receive the ball initially to start playing out, or if they do get the ball, straight away they've got someone breathing down their neck and they've either got to take them on or they're in trouble, and that's why they're not looking for the ball.
Thomas Muller plays a good 1-2, rolls into the area left hand side for Gosens, and Havertz touches it in, and Havertz finally has a goal for Germany in these European Championships that they've scored rather than relying on somebody else. It's 3-1 to Germany. Portugal all at sea. Gosens again free on the left hand side of the box. Once again it's the ball from the left that causes the problems. Havertz right in front of goal, touches it home, and it's now Portugal 1, Germany 3.
Been so impressed with Gosens again. He just hangs out here on the left hand side looking like he's not interested, just ambles into the box. It's far too easy. The defending is shocking from Portugal. It's a simple first time ball with his left foot just across the 6-yard box, and it's a simple finish for Kai Havertz. Germany have scored a goal themselves. They're 3-1 up. I can't see this changing. Portugal are so out the depth in this game, and as I thought, you know, the game against Hungary, it was 0-0 till the 84th minute. You know, and it just glossed over a performance which I thought was very ordinary.
So Kai Havertz gets his 4th international goal, and Germany now have a 2-goal cushion on Talksport against Portugal. 3-1 the scoreline. Ronaldo is fouled by Kroos as he comes forward, and then Rudiger takes out Renato Sanchez after the whistle had gone. Free kick it will be to Portugal.
I did warn you about him.
Yeah, you did.
He's an animal.
Free kick will be for Bruno Fernandes to try and tease into the area, so a quick response required here, you would say, from the Seleção.
Good position, and you know that Bruno Fernandes has got the quality.
Well, he's the assist king at Manchester United, of course. Gets his fair share of goals too. Now Germany are pushing their defensive line out to beyond the 18-yard line. The free kick itself is only 27 yards out. Fernandes from the right teases it into the far post, headed up in the air by Hummels, headed clear by Müller, but it's Guerreiro who retrieves it for Portugal and will work it out to the left-hand side.
That's what you want from your centre-halves. Get yourself in a position where you're going to make first contact on the ball.
Now Jota moves in field for Portugal, jinking towards the edge of the area. He's fouled. It's about 25 yards out. I would meekly suggest to you, Trevor Sinclair, that Ronaldo's going to have a crack at this.
He looks interested.
He's grabbed the ball.
Yeah, he looks interested. And listen, he's done it before. We've seen him do it before.
Well,
good play from Jota.
3 years ago in Sochi, I very nearly lost the power of speech as a commentator, which isn't the smartest thing to do, when Ronaldo smacked in an equaliser against the Spanish in that first game of that particular World Cup group to make it 3-3 in stoppage time. This is way out to the left of centre, but he's marking his run up like a pace bowler.
You can visualise it. Legs apart.
And the German wall, I can tell you, is just ahead of the 18-yard line. Gives you an idea how far out it is. Ronaldo's going to step up, right-footed, the knuckle ball, and it flies over the crossbar. It went up, but didn't dip. Goal kick to Germany. Portugal 1, Germany 3.
Yeah, it's a good strike, plenty of power, but it's about accuracy as well, and he just doesn't get enough of that movement where the dip comes down quickly enough and he goes harmlessly over the bar. A little bit of interest from Neuer, especially on the early part of the flight, but as he got closer to the goal, it just got higher and higher. Portugal
lost their only previous game in this stadium. That was the World Cup 2006, the semi-final against the French, that they lost by a 0-0. And they're behind here, having led, let's not forget.
Against the run of play as well. It was a fantastic counter-attacking move from a corner that they were defending, as we've said before. Ronaldo made up, 100 yards, headed it in his own 6-yard box and then got the finishing touch in the opposing 6-yard. Excellent play.
But Germany have seized control of this game. 2 own goals in the first half, and Kai Havertz, 6 minutes after the restart, making it 3-1 to Die Mannschaft, easing any pressure that was being exerted on Jogi Löw. But they do face Hungary in their final game, and Hungary can still overhaul Germany as things stand, because they have a point. Germany, if they hang on to this result, will have 3.
Yeah, just looking at a couple of matchups in the game and looking at how easy Toni Kroos and Gundogan have found it in the middle of the park. They're just stroking the ball, linking everything up for the Germans, and at the moment the Portuguese side have not got the answers to deal with it.
Renato Sanchez dropping deeper for Portugal, just ahead of the centre circle. Jinks it out left to Rafael Guerreiro, midway point of the German half. Faced up by Kimmich. He's got help on that left-hand side from Jota, and Sanchez once more trying these little triangles of passing, but they're forced back to their halfway line now, Portugal. Pepe in the centre circle. The switch play from left to right. Ronaldo now picks it up inside right channel. Passes in field to Renato Sanchez. His hair tied up in a ponytail. Out it goes to the left-hand side, and Rafael Guerreiro.
Just a little bit static dance, his nice intricate play.
Well, that's better from Sanchez, finding Jota. Look to throw it through to Ronaldo. What an interception from Robin Gosens at the edge of his own penalty area, and now the Germans will try and counter-attack.
Brilliant awareness that from Gosens. It was a dangerous situation. It looked like Ronaldo was just trying to out-to-him run from the right-hand side. The ball was played in between. It Geuzen's, narrowed up, made sure that ball didn't find its way to Ronaldo, and defended it really well. Defended the space.
Germany in possession, just inside the Portuguese half. Gundogan spins to get away from William Carvalho. Almost called him Ricardo Carvalho then.
So fluid in possession though. These little bounce passes, Germans.
That's a bit of a loose pass though from Germany. Just got away from Bruno Fernandes and allows Rudiger to steam forward. Plays it out left to Robin Geuzen's, almost level with the Portuguese penalty area, but he went back towards the halfway line. But Kroos and Gundogan, as Trevor Sinclair's been saying, in control of that midfield area. Back it goes though to Rui Patricio, and the Portuguese keeper can clear. 11 gone second half on Talksport. It's Portugal 1, Germany 3.
And it was good like little show of there why it's so easy for Gundogan and Kroos, because when the ball does get played into him, you've almost got to anticipate that. If you're playing against that, if you're William Carvalho, as the ball looks like it's leaving his foot, you've got to get on your bike to try and engage the player. But they're not doing that. They're waiting until the ball's gone to the player, then they're engaging. It's too late. The press is too late, and it's so easy for this Germany side just to play through the lines.
Well, there's another midfielder being ready by manager Santos. Rafa Silva's going to be on for Portugal in a minute, but here come Germany down the left-hand side of the box. So it's just overhit for Geuzen's, who is gamely going after it, but by the time he was ready to wrap his foot round the left-footed cross, it had gone over the dead ball line, and it is William Carvalho that's being sacrificed to bring on Rafa Silva. Wearing number 15 for Portugal. 5 years at Benfica, one appearance at Euro 2016. That was his first competitive cap for Portugal, Rafa Silva. So he's on in place of the more muscular, physical William Carvalho. So maybe a slight shift in emphasis from the Portuguese, but they've got defending to do here as Germany are coming forward to the edge of the area, but Pepe kicks the ball away from Gnabry, and here goes Diogo Jota down the left-hand side and leaves it for Rafa Silva. Gives it back to Diogo Jota, gets into the area left-hand side, tries to jink away from Hummels, goes down rather cheaply, looks at Anthony Taylor for a penalty, and Anthony Taylor looks away and says play on.
Yeah, good play from Ronaldo. He played the ball down the side for Jota to get after. He gets the ball under control, looks like he's coming inside onto his right foot, chops it back to the outside, and I think it's just a little bit of a touch on the ball, which is why no foul and no penalty was given by Anthony Taylor.
Ian Danter and Trevor Sinclair with you on Talksport. Trevor's back and he's enjoying himself.
I am, yeah. I think you can tell that I've been in lockdown for 10 days. So excited.
It's like a puppy. Don't forget Jim Proudfoot and Stuart Pearce are here with Mark Saggers to bring you full commentary of Spain against Poland at 8 p.m. Spain frustrated in their first game, and Poland beaten, of course. What can Lewandowski do against the Spanish? That's an 8 o'clock kickoff to round off the second load of fixtures in Group E. Yeah. And then tomorrow, Group A, the final games played at the same time. So Talksport 2, Wales, Italy on Talksport with Joe Shen and Dean Ashton and Adrian Durham, and Switzerland against Turkey on Talksport 2 as Kai Havertz comes forward for Germany. They're 3-1 up here. Kimmich in plenty of room, right-hand side, players to pick out. Geuzen's is one of them. 4-1 Germany. Such a simple goal. Portuguese defence absent, and Kimmich with a lovely floating cross to the far post picks out Geuzen's, and he's got the goal he deserves for his performance. Germany 4-1 up on Portugal.
It's far too easy. I mean, I mentioned it before, Gundogan and Kroos, they're completely running the game at walking pace. It's so easy, this goal. A little slip ball by Kai Havertz out to Kimmich. He's got absolutely loads of time to pick out Geuzen's on the far post, who's impacted this game superbly well. It's the perfect cross. The keeper can't get anywhere near the cross. Perfect delivery, great contact on the header, no chance for the keeper. This could get absolutely messy for Portugal if we don't sort their act out.
You would not have seen this coming after Germany's performance in this stadium against the French in the first round of matches, but they are totally dominant against Portugal. Yes, they went behind, but that was against the run of play. And now Robin Geuzen's, who thought he'd scored inside the first 10 minutes, does get himself on the score sheet And Germany using this opportunity at 4-1 up to make a change.
Yeah, rest some bodies. And I go as far as saying, Dance, that was almost like a training ground goal, where you said to the team that are playing against the first team, don't engage, just go through the motions. Just go through the motions and let the lads just play their little patterns of play. That was pathetic defending by Portugal.
It's a double change for Germany. Marcel Halstenberg has come on for the man who's just scored, Robin Gosens, so that's his last contribution. That's a like-for-like switch. Halstenberg, Leipzig, left back, can also play centre-half. And the other change will see Emre Can coming on for İlkay Gündoğan. So a change in midfield as well. Can, familiar of course to Talksport listeners for his time
sensible
in English football. Gündoğan, I'm so pleased for Gündoğan that he's getting major tournament football after all the major tournaments he's missed with back injuries, knee injuries, all sorts.
Yeah, he's had a phenomenal season for Manchester City as well, and I mean,
just the 17 goals.
He must be thinking, I mean, this is so easy for him, you know, compared to the intensity that he's had to play against week in, week out in the Premier League. That's how poor Portugal have been for me. They're almost just standing up and letting him do what he wants, and when you've got a player of that kind of quality, he's going to hurt you, and that's exactly what's happening in that opening. And same thing for Gosens, the way he's impacted the game, you know, his assists, his goal, great management from Joachim Low, resting them two players, key players that are going to be needed later in the competition.
He's not even reached double figures in terms of caps yet, Robin Gosens, but he's already showing himself to being a vital cog in this German 3-4-3 system. But he's off and Halstenberg is on in his place. Can on for Gündoğan, and it's 4-1 to Germany on Talksport, and we played just over an hour.
This is where Portugal got to be braver for me to try and play through the lines, because the long ball's not working. They're not getting any joy from that. They've got to be braver on the ball. They've got a better quality on the ball and play through the lines.
Bruno Fernandes hits the ball against Tony Kroos, who goes out of play for a throw to the Germans. This will be manna from heaven for Jogi Löw, who of course is bidding farewell as German manager. Hansi Flick takes over after this tournament.
Cool guy.
Jogi Löw or Hansi Flick?
Steady.
Just checking. He might play tricks sometimes, Trev. I'm just checking. Now, a player that you mentioned to me off air that you were surprised isn't involved is now coming on for Portugal for their third change. João Moutinho for Bruno Fernandes is the switch.
Yeah, he struggled to make an impact in the game, Bruno Fernandes. Even with the goal, he had nothing to do with that. A lot of Manchester United fans that I speak to say he's a top player, but actually in the massive games he's yet to really impress them.
I've heard that debate on the Sports Bar many a times with Andy and Jason talking about that very topic.
Yeah, and he's not really impacted the game in a positive way for Portugal today as well, so that question mark is going to hang over him until he starts turning up in these big games.
Well, Ronaldo's got a face like thunder.
I mean, these are the defending champions. This is embarrassing. 4-1 to go 1-0 up.
That's a very good point.
They've not turned up.
And they've got the French to come in the final game.
Good luck with that.
But France could only get a 1-1 draw with Hungary today earlier. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Now, ball just hit by Ruben Diaz against Serge Gnabry. Kimmich did absolutely brilliantly to keep it in play on that far touchline when he had no right to keep it, and actually finding the flag's gone up. Somebody in a white German shirt couldn't keep it in.
Why would the linesman did that? Just for the effort you let that play on, don't you?
Just for the effort. Okay, I'll remind you of that. I'll remind you of that if we're doing the Premier League game next season at some point, Trevor. And Manchester City have a goal against when somebody clearly took the ball out of play.
That's happened before. By the way, that's just great fundamentals from Kimmich.
Yeah.
You know, like just not giving up the ghost on a ball that looks 95% chance of going out. Just working your socks off for the team to try and keep the ball alive.
25 minutes to go on Talksport. Portugal have all to do. Guerreiro looks for Cristiano Ronaldo, who's trying to do it all himself. Was he caught by Havertz? He was. Number 7 tackles number 7.
On the slide, Kai Havertz is a little bit naughty, isn't he?
Well, he's got himself a yellow card for that challenge there, Kai Havertz.
Not the first foul he's given away today.
Incidentally, there were only 2 players at the start of the game carrying the threat of suspension with yellow cards from previous games. That was Ruben Diaz and Josh Kimmich, neither of whom have had a subsequent yellow yet. Free kick out on the left-hand side to Portugal. It's about 30 yards out, almost at the corner of the penalty area. So again, Ronaldo has trotted into the box to see if Jean Moutinho can place the ball on his perfectly coiffured head. Moutinho, right-footed, swings it into the box, flicks on at the near post. Ronaldo touches it across and it is in. Diogo Jota's got one back for Portugal. They didn't give it up. The cross was hit deep to the far post by Moutinho. Ronaldo couldn't get the shot on goal, but he knew he could steer it back across the face for a teammate. He did it for Diogo Jota, and there was silence around the Allianz Arena as suddenly the scoreline goes back to Portugal 2, Germany 4.
I mean, we mentioned it before he came on, and Moutinho, the quality that he's shown at Wolves this season, I was surprised that he's not been playing. I can't tell you how good that set piece is. He puts it into an area where Neuer does not want anything to do with it. Fortunately for Neuer, it was outside of the far post. Ronaldo never gives up the goals. He keeps it in play, and it's a simple finish by Jota at the end of it. Fantastic ball. And again, when you're playing against a team like Portugal, who've not really had a lot of the ball, don't give silly, unnecessary free kicks away. And that's exactly what Kai Havertz done. He's been punished with a yellow card, and now they've been punished with a goal against.
They're just checking the VAR for any potential offside, which there was not from the first ball. Now, did Jota get a touch at the near post? That's what they're checking for. No, it went over Jota's head.
If he had a big afro, you might have said that he might have got something on that. But
yeah, if it was Marouane Fellaini, then we'd be saying offside all day long. But as Diogo Jota's got a more...
But fair play to VAR for checking this, because the initial ball, there was no one anywhere near offside, and they've double-checked that, make sure there was no touch from Jota, which there wasn't, and the right decision again has come.
So, we've got a quarter of the game to go, and it's Portugal 2, Germany 4 on Talksport. And Portugal, a little bit of encouragement from that goal back from Jota. Rafa Silva's won a free kick as Rudiger's hauled him to the ground. Portugal score again in the next few minutes. This could get very interesting, Trevor Sinclair.
Well, it could, and I'm thinking of how must Joachim Low be feeling at the moment, because this could have been a very, very easy night's work. The fact that they're giving away a cheap free kick, which has given them the opportunity to put the ball in the box, he must be frustrated.
Moutinho with another free kick swung into the box, headed away by Rudiger. Should be red shirts to pick up the loose ball. Guerreiro will just let it drift out of play on the far side for a Portuguese throw. It's about 30 yards from the dead ball line. Portugal 2, Germany 4, if you're just tuning in to Talksport. Spain, Poland coming up at 8 o'clock with Saggers and Jim Proudfoot and Stuart Pearce, your commentary team for that game. Portugal down the left-hand side, ball teased into the box, just goes over the head of Rafa Silva, but first on the scene is Danilo. Now Ronaldo just jinks it away from Emre Can, puts it across the face of goal, and Rudiger slides in and sends it out of play for a throw-in.
Yeah, good effort that from Ronaldo. Got his half a yard, put it into a dangerous area, well defended in the end, but you just seen Rudiger there in screen, just touching the side of his head where his brain is saying, come on, let's switch on, let's not let Portugal back in this game and become an uncomfortable last 10-15 minutes of the game.
Just over 20 to go on Talksport. Portugal 2, Germany 4. Portugal 1 up and then 3-1 down. Not quite in the blink of an eye, but nevertheless, as a drinks break is called, gives me a chance to remind you that not only do we have the Spain-Poland game at 8 o'clock tonight, but tomorrow you have a choice of listening across Talksport and Talksport 2 at 5 o'clock. Italy-Wales at 5 o'clock. Adrian Durham will be your host at the Stadio Olimpico. Wow. Joe Shannon and Dean Ashton, your commentary team. And at the same time on Talksport 2, the other game in Group A, Switzerland against Turkey. Wales almost certainly assured of a place in the last 16. So that's your Sunday afternoon listening. And then on Monday, Groups B and C conclude. At 5 o'clock, you've got North Macedonia against the Netherlands on Talksport, Ukraine, Austria at the same time on Talksport 2, and then the Finland, Belgium, Russia, Denmark group concludes, again across the Talksport network, Finland, Belgium and Russia, Denmark, both at 8 o'clock. Russia, Denmark on Talksport, Finland, Belgium, I think it's Finland, Belgium on Talksport 2. There's a guy who I've just spotted with a fantastic Paul Breitner style afro, who's been doing the double fist bump above his head, delighted with what he's seeing from Die Mannschaft.
Must have got the old curlers out this morning.
Well, for our younger listeners, Paul Breitner had one of the... if you think Marouane Fellaini had a big head of hair, Paul Breitner could beat him in any contest you like back in the early 70s in the German national side.
Just talking about Wales, can we just mention, just give kudos to Aaron Rambo. He was phenomenal the other day in that game.
I mean, as good as he was at Euro 2016 at times, I think that was an even better performance that you put in.
I saw him as a young boy, 16, 17, coming through at Cardiff, played with him. What an absolute grounded young man. Fearless and so much ability. I'm just pleased how he's developed as a player and as a person.
Yeah, Wales against Italy then on Talksport tomorrow tea time. Make sure you're with us for that, as Wales look to rubber stamp their passage through to the knockout stages. A couple of substitutions being readied by Germany. Leon Goretzka is going to take his Euro bow after injury has prevented him getting involved up to this point. And Nicolas Süle is also coming on at centre-half. We're about to find out who's coming off to allow those two chaps to come on. Goretzka, of course, who plays his club football in this stadium at the Allianz Arena. Moved from Schalke back in 2018, and it's Kai Havertz who scored Germany's third goal, who's coming off, and that may well also be partly to protect that yellow card that he picked up for the silly challenge on Cristiano Ronaldo. So Goretzka on for Havertz, and the other change, we'll see, is Gundogan coming off this time, and on in his place will come Nicolas Süle. Süle, another excellent defender, again plays his club football here, winning his 32nd cap tonight. He was a centre forward in his early days at Hoffenheim. You see, you hear that a lot, don't you, about centre halves who started life as a striker and then gradually move back through the field and end up as a centre back.
Chris Sutton,
good example.
Played both. Arguably better at centre half. He'll be on the phone. Brilliant at Celtic.
You hope you just want an argument with him, that's all.
Love Chris.
Here's Pepe with a diagonal ball across the field, headed away by Ginter. So Süle's gone into the centre of the three centre-backs where Hummels was, with Hummels having gone off. Renato Sanchez from Portugal gives it back to halfway. Tries to tease it infield. Ronaldo trying to get a piece of it. Rafa Silva there too, but it's guided back to Manuel Neuer. And his ball downfield bypasses Nelson Semedo, and away down the left strolls Serge Gnabry. Everything to his right. Plays it infield to get it back maybe. He does indeed get it back from Goretzka. Goretzka looking for Gnabry again. The two Bayern players almost combined, but Portugal do enough and win it back.
Yeah, Moutinho there, you could see the difference in his intensity with that press. He forced the player receiving the ball to do something that wasn't there in the opening 60-70 minutes before he came onto the pitch. Not only has he got that intensity out of possession, he's also got the set piece delivery, which we've seen leading to the second goal for Portugal. So I think that's a positive change by Fernando Santos.
Just over a quarter of an hour to play on Talksport. Portugal 2, Germany 4. Remember, Portugal will 1-0 up in this Group F encounter. Earlier today, the French had to work really hard just to get a point out of Hungary. And remember, Hungary-Germany is the final game in this group on Wednesday evening, whilst Portugal take on France. Now Goretzka, furthest forward for the moment, as a diagonal ball was sent his way over the top, but it skids through on the bounce to Rui Patricio. Portugal got to get on with it here.
Yeah, they need to show a bit more urgency to try and get back in this game, because it's going to end up being very comfortable for Germany if they don't. If they can get that goal, it'll just make it a more uncomfortable and exciting for us. Final stages of this match.
Portugal 4-2 down, but coming forward with Nelson Semedo down the right hand side, checks his run for a moment. Just ahead of him goes Rafa Silva down the right hand side of the penalty area, and he hits it against the defender Süle, and that will be a throw in to Portugal. But they've had to work it back to almost the halfway line to keep possession in their red shirts.
Great composure again though by Martinho. Again, under extreme pressure when he received that throw from Semedo. Just understands what's around him.
Now he tries to roll the ball down the right-hand side of the box for Rafa Silva, but Rudiger got ahead of him. Another good clearance from Neuer, straight onto the chest of Goretzka, who strokes it neatly in field, and away comes Thomas Muller, barrelling forward in that way that he does, but Pepe will get in front of Leon Goretzka as the ball was slid down the left-hand side of the box. And Pepe, very calmly himself, rolls it into the feet of Renato Sanchez. Infield for Danilo.
Yeah, impressive that from Pepe. We talk about defenders fighting for space before the ball gets there, and you could see he anticipated that slide ball. He got on his toes, got on his bike, made sure that he fought for that space and worked for that space before the ball arrived, and ended up being quite a comfortable situation for him in that defensive area of the pitch.
It's notable now that Diogo Jota's playing through the middle for Portugal up front, and Cristiano Ronaldo is out to his left-hand side. They swap roles for the moment. Sanchez intercepts for Portugal and plays a lovely reverse pass to get Rafa Silva away over halfway. Jota knows that Ronaldo's ahead of him. He was caught late. Was Diogo Jota, and a yellow card for Matthias Ginter. And you could hear the wince from Trevor Sinclair as the challenge went in.
Yeah, he's got to take that, and he knew the danger. If Jota had chance to play that first time out to his left, he wouldn't be able to affect the ball, so he tried to get engaged with the ball and stop it leaving Jota's toes, but Jota was too smart for that. Got there first, took the lick, and it's a free kick in a dangerous position once again.
Just over the halfway line.
Just a little bit central, I think.
Yeah, it's Martinho standing over it, Germany holding a fairly high line, good 25 yards out, and Martinho's elected to take it short so that Portugal can just keep possession down the inside left channel. Diaz gives the ball back to Danilo. It's on halfway with Pepe now, who can stride into the German half. Plays the ball up to the edge of the area, looking for Ronaldo. Good defending that time by Nicolas Sula and Ginter between them. But then Martinho putting Emre Can under pressure, and that's a corner kick that Can's given away, with Martinho not giving it up. 4-2 to Germany.
Not just not giving it up, that intensity of the press, getting on your toes, anticipating where the ball's going to land, and just because it lands at a German player's feet, don't just give him the time to do what he wants with it, because that's what's been happening in this game. He got the press on, he's ended up winning a corner.
Short corner, Renato Sanchez fires it against the post. It's smacked against the post. He hit that like a rocket, but it bounces straight back into play, and Germany bring the ball away. What a hit from Renato Sanchez.
Wow, Neuer wouldn't have got anywhere near that. I've seen him scurrying across, he was nowhere near it. That is an unbelievable strike, that from Sanchez. Incredible power, and it bounced off the post, and I think it went out of the area. It was that powerful.
Neuer never smelt it. But it remains Portugal 2, Germany 4 on Talksport with 12 minutes to go. But another little shot across the German bows there from Portugal, just to say we're not quite done yet.
If he gets anywhere near 20-25 yards out, unleashed, because that is a weapon.
Here's Ginter for Germany, out to the right-hand side, turned infield neatly. Müller works it back to Emre Can. Just standing in front of Danilo, who almost took the ball off him, but they worked the ball back to Manuel Neuer, the German captain, who stood just outside his 18-yard line. Drives the ball along the deck to his left for Antonio Rudiger, further out to this near touchline and Halstenberg, and that's an early ball in field for Emre Can. He's got time to turn and switch play to the German right, and Ginter. Kimmich once again out there wanting the ball on that right-hand side. Even though he's out on that right-hand side, he's not peripheral Kimmich by any means, is he, Trevor Sinclair?
He knows, he understands the game, he understands little bounce passes, making angles, looking to run in behind, reverse movement. You can see he's a very, very clever player. He's got a great IQ on the game.
Just over 10 minutes to go on Talksport. Remember, Spain, Poland, live at 8 o'clock here on Talksport with Jim Proudfoot and Stuart Pearce, your commentary team, and Mark Saggers, your host. And Germany are in possession inside their own half with Nicolas Sula.
Yeah, they're hunting in packs now, Portugal. You can see that. I think whether it's come from the back or whether it's been the introduction of Martinho, but they're certainly pressing higher and trying to force errors from this German side, and they're getting close, they're getting contact.
Muller goes down under pressure from Sanchez. No foul, says Anthony Taylor. And Portugal have possession in the centre circle with Moutinho. Allows Semedo to run onto the ball. Now Ronaldo, hugging the right-hand touchline, comes in field. Moutinho in the centre of the half loses out. Ronaldo trying to snaffle back the loose ball, but Germany have it. Laid off by Gnabry to Muller. And now Goretzka, very elegant midfield player of Bayern Munich, of course. This importance may well grow for Germany as this tournament continues. Slow starters, Germany, moving into the tournament, grinding their way through.
Yeah, this has been an impressive performance. I think everything that Joachim Low would have wanted from the boys have produced today. You know, they've been great in the final third, plenty of creativity.
Heavy touch from Gnabry though there. Champ will pick up the loose ball in the centre circle, fires it out left to Halstenberg, midway point of the Portuguese half, has to go back 15 yards or so to Rudiger. To keep ball at the moment for Germany. And
they've changed the tempo dance. I think this is about just protecting that 2-goal lead, looking after the ball, managing the final 10-12 minutes of this game, and making sure they don't concede and make it an uncomfortable end.
Well, with the score at 4-2 to Germany, we're just seeing a replay of that Renato Sanchez thunderbolt strike from 25 yards out that smacked against the upright. If Germany continue and win this game, as they are 4-2 up at the moment, they will win the group if they beat Hungary on Wednesday night. And France don't beat Portugal.
Normal service resumes. That's what we expect.
But there's all sorts of ramifications to this group. I'll go through some more for you in just a moment. But here's Moutinho for Portugal.
Don't confuse me, Dan.
I'll try not to. Look, Mats was never my forte, but I'm working it out for you as best I can. Renato Sanchez turns away from an opponent, but then a poor loose pass across midfield will allow Germany to bring it away. They've got a man over. Going through the middle is Goretzka. He's got Gnabry to his left, Muller to his right. Goretzka's going to go alone, and it clips the crossbar and goes over for a goal kick.
Yeah, brilliant scenario to be in for Goretzka. He kept the ball really nice and close control as he made the forward run right through the centre. He had a player to the left, a player to the right. Only 2 Portuguese defenders. One of them eventually had to come towards him. He didn't come towards him quickly enough. He got the shot off, and it's a decent save by Rui Patricio. Good play by Germany, but sloppy play to give the ball away by Renato Sanchez. Again, unforced errors, giving the ball away, just not been good enough, Portugal.
I wondered how long it would be before we see Andre Silva, just the 29 goals for Eintracht Frankfurt this season. And he's on in the Bundesliga Team of the Year.
Wow.
But he's on for Diogo Jota for these last, 7 minutes.
I think Jota's been one of the better forward players for Portugal. You know, he's really tried to affect the game, especially on counter-attacks. He's looked really dangerous.
Just further to the ramifications, I mentioned how Germany can win this group. Portugal will win this group if they beat the French and Germany don't beat Hungary. Ready for this? France will win the group if they win against Portugal, or if they draw and Germany don't win.
That's the simplest one.
Okay.
My head's starting to bang now.
And Hungary, Germany and Portugal they can all finish bottom. They can all miss out. Okay?
No, my head's
Is that clear as mustard now?
No.
I didn't mean to confuse you. Ian Danter and Trevor Sinclair with you. Just over 6 minutes to go. He was happy when he came here, Trevor. I've just ruined his night with all these ramifications.
Oh dear.
This is when you said, just go and win the game.
Yeah.
Here's Pepe on halfway for Portugal. Got 2 goals to find from somewhere in double quick time. Moutinho loses out to Goretzka on halfway. And now Kroos is fouled by Semedo. Got a nudge in the back from the Portuguese right full back. Anthony Taylor blows his whistle. And Germany are, if not cruising towards 3 points, they're heading there without too much pressure at the moment.
Yeah, they're managing this final part of the game really well. You know, Kroos just using all of the experience, making sure he doesn't let Semedo see the ball. Semedo's really keen to try and win the ball back. Ends up going through the back of him. It's a simple one for Anthony Taylor, the referee, to give the foul. And again, seconds are ticking away. They're keeping ball. They're forcing the Portuguese to come out and try and press them. And when they do, that's where they'll be dangerous.
5 minutes to go. Portugal 2, Germany 4. Rafa Silva wins the throw right in front of the German technical area. Wants to take it quickly, but there's no fresh ball there for him to use. Now he gets one handed to him by one of the ball girls on the near touch line. Semedo looks for his options. Will go back into his own half, maybe.
Familiar face there in the technical area. Looks like he's coming on.
Leroy Sané of Manchester City one time, of course. Could be coming on in a moment. He came on as a substitute in the first game, Sane, of course. Came to this stadium after his spell at Manchester City. Danilo's gone down injured.
Yeah, head injury.
Clash of heads with Thomas Muller. Muller stayed on his feet. Danilo is just being helped to his feet.
Yeah, not much in it. I think they both went up genuinely to head the ball. There's a bit of a collision, and maybe it's caught the Portuguese player in a wrong part of the head where he's felt it a little bit more.
That shot from Goretzka did indeed skim the top of the crossbar on its way over.
What a dip. I thought it was a save. It was a great dip that he got on that. Just not enough to go under the bar.
Portugal 2, Germany 4. And Danilo is now back on his feet. This will give the chance for Leroy Sané to enter the fray during this little break. Danilo doesn't want to come off the field, but because he's had treatment, he has to go off, at least temporarily.
Yeah, I think maybe there might be some kind of concussion there. I'm not sure. Just the reaction, it just doesn't look natural.
No, he's not happy at all as he's been led to this near touchline. Sané still waits.
Yeah, some incredible football played by Sané when he was at Manchester City in the Premier League. Not quite reproduced that.
No, certainly.
In the Bundesliga.
Well, he didn't make the World Cup squad 3 years ago for Germany.
I think there's been a few question marks about his mentality, his attitude,
10
things like
goals
that.
this season for Bayern in just over 40 appearances, so he's found the net now and again as Bayern, of course, won the title. Serge Gnabry is the man that's making way for him.
Been brilliant. Been really brilliant. Very difficult to pin down. You know, he's matured as a player. We've seen him not quite hit the heights when he was at Arsenal, and you know, he's shown great personality and character to keep working hard, make himself a favourite of this German side, and you can see why he's so successful.
Sané.
Just going back to Sané, with the knee injury that he had, I had that injury. It can take a season or so to get over.
Well, it was the whole of the 1920 season. He wasn't around.
Especially when that is one of your main strengths, your speed and your agility, and that obviously is what Sané has.
3 minutes to go. Away come Portugal down the right-hand side. Semedo into the area. Brilliant defending from Nicolas Sula. Came across and put it behind for a corner kick when it looked that Semedo was going to be able to square it for a teammate. Corner Portugal, but then 4-2 down.
Yeah, great defending by Sule. Couldn't allow that ball to go into the box. There was a lot of Portuguese bodies making their way towards the edge of the 6-yard box. If he allowed that cross in, anything could have happened, but he got there, made sure he didn't allow it. It's a corner to Portugal. On
their right-hand side, so an out-swinging delivery to come from Jean Moutinho. Only a couple of Portuguese players in the 6-yard box. It's headed away from the 6-yard line out to this near side of Renato Sanchez. Still got Moutinho there. Gives it back to Sanchez, right-hand corner of the box. Floats the ball to the far post. Pepe heads it back across and behind by Rudiger. Didn't get a call from any of his teammates, so he decided a corner was the best option.
Yeah, I think he had to take it because I think Ruben Diaz was behind him. Ruben Diaz might not have got there to keep it in play. He's put it into an area and he's just not been able to find one of his teammates.
It's Rafael Guerreiro floating the ball into the box, comfortably headed clear by the German back line. Portugal keep possession though. 90 seconds of normal time to play. Little long ball downfield from Semedo to the left-hand corner of the box, looking for Andre Silva. It's not a kick yet, so it's coming on as a substitute, but he has just want to throw off Ginter. Yeah, it's been comfortable. You've never really looked at this game and thought Germany are in trouble of losing this lead. They've been comfortable, they've managed the game really well. Up to halfway it goes, but Portugal want it back. They're trying to box Germany inside their own half and keep the pressure on as we tick round towards added time on Talksport. Portugal 2, Germany 4. Sanchez just drops his shoulder and goes on the outside of Halstenberg. Tries to check onto his left foot, but there's plenty of German players back. And Renato Sanchez is adjust to a foul Toni Kroos and thumps the ball angrily into the side of the advertising hoardings as the decision goes against him, and Germany have a free kick in their left back position. Yeah, I think that originally there was a little bit of shirt pulling from the German defender, which is where the frustration come from. The decision went against him once he fouled Toni Kroos, and then his frustration come out on him, as you see it there. It's a clear pull on both the shorts and the shirt of Renato Sanchez by Marcel Halstenberg, but that frustration there, just volleying the ball into the sponsors' boards. Now Ronaldo out on the left-hand side for Portugal as we move towards added time on Talksport. Gets to the byline and tricks himself and puts it behind for a goal kick. We've all been there. It's especially
cutting when you're a winger and you've got that charisma, and that's part of your main strength of your game, and you try a trick and get it completely wrong and it goes out of play.
It's not going on his show reel, is it, that?
He really tricked himself up. He's having a little giggle himself.
So we're into added time here on Talksport. Portugal 2, Germany 4. Didn't see how many minutes were held up by the assistant. It's at least 3. Meanwhile, Germany are coming forward with Toni Kroos. Sane, his first involvement in the game. Plays it out to the right-hand side. 4 minutes have been added on in the Allianz Arena. We're well into the first of those now. Ball's back with Rudiger.
Yeah, I think anyone that made a quick judgment on Germany after that first game.
Well, Goretzka works it out to the left-hand side for Halstenberg. Into the area for Sane. Angles tries to turn onto his right foot, and Halstenberg wildly slashes it over the bar for a goal kick to Portugal. Well, they weren't at their best against the French. I can only judge a team on the 90 minutes that they play, and they look devoid of that intention that you need.
Yeah, and the intensity, and they didn't defend well enough to keep a clean sheet. They didn't look like they were going to score, so all in all it was a disappointing performance. You know, you can't doubt the Germans. They find a way, and as we've seen in this performance, you know, they've got balls in the team and they've managed the game really well. So like I said, anyone that made judgment after that first performance might be doing that.
Rafa Silva wins a free kick inside the centre circle after a couple of nibbles at him from Emre Can, and I think Goretzka was the other player that tried to have a go at him. Semedo has the free kick rolled to him short. He goes down the right-hand side for Andre Silva, right-hand side of the box, gives it back to Nelson Semedo. The right back goes back for Pepe, hits a diagonal ball, attempts to hit a diagonal ball into the box. It's blocked by Thomas Muller, who I think caught it on the inner thigh, shall we say?
Be careful.
I'm being very careful. Long ball downfield, won't break for Ronaldo. It skips through to Manuel Neuer on one bounce, and that is almost that for Germany. They've got a minute and a half to see out here. 4-2 up, and they're in possession with the impressive Josh Kimmich. Now Sane, hugging the right-hand touchline. Goretzka finds Can. Kroos goes forward to Muller. He's just holding his right thigh.
Yeah, it's a stinger.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's warm. I mean, they're much worse when it's cold. But even when it's warm, they still sting.
Toni Kroos on halfway. We've all had that. It's the orange football I had when I was a kid. That was the worst one. Now, Portugal have won the ball back. Ronaldo driving towards the edge of the German box. He's got assistance from Andre Silva, who tries to drive it goal with brilliant defending first from Ginter. And then Manuel Neuer trying to prevent the corner. Took out his own teammate, Rudiger, in trying to clear it all.
No prisoners. I mean, it's great to see that desire from players. You know, we've been at the top of the game for years, year after year. Neuer there, wanting to avoid the corner. Absolutely goes to fist it and smashes Rudiger. Rudiger, we both just get up and shake hands, get on with it.
Didn't prevent the corner though. 30 seconds of added time to go. Moutinho for Portugal, deep to the far post, headed back across goal, up from the crossbar from Ginter. Portugal trying to get a man involved, and Halstenberg turns it behind for, well, I thought that was another corner, but it's been given as a goal kick by Anthony Taylor. Germany 4-2 up.
Yeah, that's it.
And there goes the full-time whistle. Right Germany off at your peril. They were a goal down to Portugal after a 15-minute opening spell in which the Germans dominated before Ronaldo scored his 12th Euro final goal on the counter-attack. But from that point on, Germany dominated. 2 own goals in the last 10 minutes of the first half from Ruben Diaz and Rafael Guerreiro had Germany in front at the break. And then in the second half, Kai Havertz became the first player in this German squad to score at a European Championship. That was 6 minutes after the restart. And Robin Gosens, the Atalanta left wing back, deservedly got a goal with a close-range header on the hour as Portugal fell apart defensively. They did get one back through Diogo Jota midway through the second half, but they couldn't do any more than that, the Portuguese. And so this Group F is wide open for all teams to have something to say about it on the final night on Wednesday. Full time at the Allianz Arena. Portugal 2, Germany 4.